Today, I want to tell you about the revolutionary discovery made about warp engines. To do this, I will use some comparisons with the Star Trek series, this way it will be easier to understand. It's a metaphor I'll use to explain about the warp engine. Faraway places, unknown galaxies, exoplanets that may harbor intelligent life, giant black holes, and bright stars, there's so much to explore in the universe. But there's a problem. The distance. If you want to reach anywhere in deep space, you have to endure space travels that last at least 5 months, even with the most powerful rocket in history. And if we want to send humans to Mars permanently, NASA needs to find a way to make the trip faster. The next closest star is 4.5 light-years away, making it impossible to visit with current space technologies. But wait. There's a discovery that can change all of this. A warp drive capable of making faster trips than the speed of light. And we're explaining how NASA scientists discovered the world's first warp bubble. Traveling on a warp drive is not new to Star Trek fans. But what does this mean for you, for us, for the future of space exploration? Join us as we explore this futuristic technology. Oh, the Star Trek universe, a true madness. Since its inception in 1966, the science fiction universe has captivated everyone's imagination with its 10 television series and 13 feature films. The team is composed of brave and adventurous characters, traveling aboard powerful and fast spacecraft, exploring strange planets, and communicating with alien crews. But the question is, how do they travel so far and so fast? Well, without the warp drive, the Star Trek story would be completely implausible. The universe is strange, unimaginable, and absurdly large, and even if you want to visit the next galaxy, the immense cosmic distances are an almost insurmountable barrier. Look at the nearby star Alpha Centauri, for example, which is 4.5 light-years away. This means that even if you travel at the speed of light, the trip would take 4.5 years. And if you want to use the fastest spacecraft ever built, the journey through interstellar space would still take almost 8,000 years. So it makes sense to stay on Earth and explore your immediate environment, right? Not for the Star Trek crew. They have found a solution. With the warp drive, they can travel long distances at an accelerated pace, shortening the distance with the help of the warp technology. It's like magic in space. Let's go on this journey together, to the far reaches of the universe, but first, don't forget to value my hours of research and production. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with people who love this subject. Guys, space and time are crazy things, right? And the warp drive is the cherry on top. We always thought it was just fiction, until one guy came and shattered our beliefs. Miguel A. Otsubwa Br. This guy is a top-notch physicist. He was working on a PhD research with Einstein's general theory of relativity, and suddenly, boom! He found the solution to interstellar travel. And all because he watched an episode of Next Generation. The guy took a piece of paper and did calculations that changed the game. In his article, he described how you can compress space and time, creating a twist bubble in front of the ship, and thus, travel to the desired destination with a much shorter distance. It's like surfing a wave, guys. Look at me trying to speak slang. It was a crazy time, guys, when Miguel A. Otsubwa Br. decided he was tired of accepting the limitations of the universe and decided to change things. Watching an intriguing time travel while doing his PhD research on Einstein's relativity, this guy had an epiphany and took a piece of paper, where he laid the foundation for an article that shook the global scientific community. He described how you can bend space and time in front of a spaceship, making it possible to fly to the stars at an astonishing speed. This guy called it a twist bubble, but in reality, It's a wave that can take us mere mortals to the outskirts of the universe. But here's the catch, folks, building this folding engine is not as easy as it seems. You need exotic matter with strong enough gravity to bend space. It's a wild journey, but someone has to do it. Maybe one day, we can surf this wave to the stars and discover what's out there. My friends, you wouldn't believe the trip I had to the world of science. It all started with a twist bubble obtained by lenses, where the mass was concentrated in the areas of highest curvature. But the most surprising thing is that this bubble can be created with common everyday things, without the need for strange objects. I was flabbergasted that no one had tried this before, despite the lens engine being more practical than the LQ-bar engine. But still, a lot of mass was needed for it. Now, you must be wondering, what's this amount of mass? Well, despite needing 1,000 times less mass than the Sun, it's still a huge amount in kilograms. But it's something manageable. Something that used to be just a theoretical concept, but a casual discovery changed everything. The Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, DARPA, funded a research project that ended up uncovering how to create the UERP propulsion engine. NASA researcher Terry White published a research article on the possible energy density structure present in a Casimir cavity. According to the report, the Eagle Works team discovered a micro-nanoscale system that predicts a negative energy density distribution that approaches the requirements of the AO-Tsubwa metric. In other words, they accidentally created a microscopic experiment while researching how energy is distributed around wavefronts. The result of this experiment was enough theoretical energy to reach the necessary speed, a concept theorized by Br Alcohol. My friends, we are witnessing a revolutionary discovery in science, and who knows where this will take us. The team of Dr. White at NASA explained how their detailed analysis of custom cavities led to the identification of a real and viable micro-nanostructure, predicted to produce a negative vacuum energy density and create a true warp bubble. While the original solution proposed by Alcubierre was ridiculed for its use of theoretical materials and massive amounts of energy, Dr. Igor Works, an expert in NASA's Arab proportion, reworked the concept and drastically reduced the materials and energy required. This renovated concept, now known as the Alcubierre-White WarpDrive, was funded by DARPA for additional research. And to Dr. White's surprise, he ended up discovering a potentially revolutionary discovery. White was working in the field of Casimir cavities and non-quantum forces and had nothing to do with the warp propulsion mechanics theory. But by some kind of coincidence, they ended up discovering a structure that is incredibly similar to his passion project, the ARP. This moment was a true turning point in the research, resulting in a surprising discovery, a nanostructure that can manifest a warp bubble. This fortuitous discovery confirmed the predicted toroidal structure and negative energy aspects of a UERP bubble, opening up new paths for researchers, including White and his team, to explore and design the construction of a real space-traveling spacecraft. They presented a design proposal for a stable nanoscale warp, with the goal of advancing the research and further evaluating their innovative results. White and his team are passionate about this work and believe it has a number of possible applications. They are ready to share their discovery with the community and hope that one day we can actually build a spaceship with the ability to bend space. Riding on the forefront of intergalactic science, White was working on a toy model, a dream come true for space travelers, a micro-cylinder centralized with a micro-diameter sphere. Analysis revealed an impressive three-dimensional energy density, a cry to the stars that this is an idea worthy of further exploration. White proposes that this structure be used to create a negative distribution of vacuum energy density, the dream of a hard space organ, similar to Alcubierre's requirements. Unfortunately, White and his team have not yet tested or built the nanoscale folding engine, but with modern tools such as the nanoscribe printer, they are capable of achieving this goal. At the moment, they are focusing on customizing the cavities of the Casimir, but White says there is a backup plan. The alternative plan is to tie several of these hard gold bubbles together in a chain configuration. This experiment would allow researchers to better understand the physics of the warp bubble structure as a vessel could one day navigate through space within a UERP bubble. The journey is just beginning, and White and his team are ready to make the trip. White's team is currently being funded by DARPA to explore forgotten cavities, but this doesn't mean they're interested in building nanoscale propulsion systems. While the discovery of the Duragold bubble has potentially surprising implications, White believes there is still much to be done before we reach a fully functional Dura engine. But this doesn't mean hope is lost. White believes it's just a matter of time before someone independently tests the gold bubble, and while we're still far from traveling through the universe in a Star Trek-inspired folding bubble, this doesn't mean it won't happen one day. White's team is focused on what really matters now, exploring forgotten cavities. And even though they can't build folding engines at the moment, they're still keeping the hope that one day humanity will be able to travel through the universe in a folding bubble. But only time will tell the answer. Did you see how interesting the researchers' discovery was? Great to have been with you. Until the next video.